afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Student Talk for the Postgrad in Risk Management edition, where we will spotlight the people who have survived the Postgraduate Diploma in Risk Management. For those of you that do not know me, I am Marisa Grundling, the head of the Risk and Insurance Department here at Millpark Education. And according to my team, the chief instigator of all the crazy we get up to. I have the privilege of working with some of the most inspiring students, and today is all about hearing from our graduates themselves. The postgrad in risk management isn't a standard textbook and test program. We do things a little differently. From designing AI-powered companies for risk simulations, to dissecting real-world crises, to being thrown into a real boardroom for high-stakes decision-making and building AI bots, just to name a few. We aim to make sure you can apply your knowledge the minute you log off from class, but more than the technical skills. At postgraduate, the journey is as much about discovering and challenging yourself. It's about showing graduate attributes that truly matter in risk management, which include being assertive, bold, creative, devoted, and ethical. It is a collaborative journey of self-mastery. But enough for me. Today is about our graduate stories. I'll be asking them to share their experiences, challenges, and surprises from the program, and what it is really like to study the postgrad in risk with Millpark, all while juggling work, life, kids, dinners, cars, family, and everything else that comes from being an adult. So before I introduce them, just a quick formal disclosure, none of these graduates have educational experiences, the kind that bond people for life. So let's get started. I'm handing over to our students first so they can quickly introduce themselves to you. Atisu.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Atiso Tsotezi. I work as a liability underwriter for one of the underwriting managers here in South Africa. And I started my journey with Millpark. I think it's 3 years ago now. I first studied the higher certificate in short-term insurance. And then last year I started the postgraduate diploma in risk management. That's me.
Thanks, Atisu. Deirdre?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Deirdre, and as Marisa said, I'm one of the survivors of the postgrad. I'm also 3 times a Millpark graduate and just recently completed the postgraduate diploma in risk management.
Thank you. Deirdre. Estelle?
Good afternoon. I work as a technical quality analyst. My current role affords me the freedom to function on a strategic and a tactical level. And I'm fortunate because that's exactly where risk and insurance intertwine. And I'm very excited for today's opportunity to share my learning journey with you.
Thank you. Lulama?
Good evening, everybody. I'm Lulama. I am a renewed risk management professional. I think I just also recently qualified or graduated, finished my postgraduate diploma in risk management. An exciting journey. So yeah, excited to discuss this with you.
Thank you. Tandeka.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Tandeka Damini. I work for Eswatini Royal Insurance Corporation in Eswatini. I'm in the International Students Millpark. This is my second degree with Millpark. I enrolled for become short-term insurance, and I finished 2023. Then I came back for the risk management. Was part of the first group that is just finished after this.
It's always good to hear that people just can't get enough. So guys, I think I'll open the floor with what did you expect when you started the postgrad? And was it sort of what you expected it to be at all? I don't know. Atisu, what did you expect?
Sure. I was nervous more than anything. I didn't know what to expect. I thought I wouldn't have a life for at least the next 18 months. So yeah, I didn't know. I think like most people, when you're starting something new, especially at a higher NQF level, you don't know necessarily what to expect, what the pressure's like, what the workflow management is like. So I think yeah, it was very difficult because we didn't know what to kind of expect coming into it since we were the first cohort to do this qualification.
Yeah. Tandeka, was it the same as previous Mopak experiences you had? Did it?
No, I think this was what West. I thought it's gonna be easy, just 6 modules, and then I graduate. No, it was very, very intensive. Uh, for me, you have to give yourself time to pass. It's a roller coaster. The next minute you're passing, the other you're failing, and then you have to pull yourself up and try to meet the deadlines and balance work and everything. Yeah, it's a bit challenging, but it's doable.
Mm.
I think for me,
Yes,
for
Lulama.
me, I think it was actually quite interesting. I was expecting a whole lot of theory, textbooks, and referencing, and a lot of calculations and stuff, but I was pleasantly surprised. It was more practical. I think that was the most fun thing about this course. It was a very it's a very practical course.
Thank you, Lulama. What surprised you guys most about the program? What was like the biggest what moment that you had?
Marisa, so I think for me, the depth and breadth of the material really blew me away. I was particularly surprised by how much emphasis was placed on the governance, ethics, strategic alignment, and that succeeded in the way the modules were broken down and the practicality that Lulama says, how it broadened my perspective beyond the operational risk that's my direct environment to a more enterprise-wide resilience. So that's what I expected. I expected a rigorous qualification. However, I couldn't have foreseen the brand of rigorous that the experience ended up to be, and it was mind-blowing, to be honest.
I think for me, Marisa, when I actually started with the program, I was actually looking for textbooks. And I kept calling in to confirm what type of textbooks are required. And I think that's the practicality of the course itself, because it teaches you real life work-ready skills. And I think that for me was the biggest, if I could say, the excitement of it all was not necessarily theory, but actually putting practicality into process. And that was quite enjoyable for me.
Oh, thank you. So after you've completed this postgrad and risk manage now, has it changed the way you think about or approach risk in your current role, or did it change how you think about things?
Yeah, I think absolutely. On my side, what I can say with confidence, you don't wait to complete. You will never wait to complete to do the application. You apply as you go. And I think that was a big plus. You get a renewed sense of understanding in terms of risk management, in terms of processes, and how you can literally start adding value in the area of expertise that you're in and implementing things. And I think that was a plus for me.
Yes, and I have to say, for me, it's completely shifted my thinking. I no longer see risk as something to merely mitigate, but more as something that can be harnessed strategically. And that was my biggest motivation to apply. I wanted to learn how to think of risk strategically integrated in my role and future roles. So I've definitely become more confident engaging with risk across functions, not just from the technical standpoint, but also in terms of opportunity, accountability, and what Lulama so eloquently put, value creation. That's key for me. It added value immediately.
Yeah, I think for me, Marisa, what it's taught me coming from an underwriting background is that, you know, risk is much more broad. While insurance is one of the risk mitigation strategies that you can employ, but it's taught me how to look at risk not only in silos, but you have to integrate it and embed it in your everyday operations, and how to conscientize, you know, your colleagues, and if maybe you're in a management position, maybe some of your subordinates, how to sort of think about risk from a positive perspective as well, to say, if we can prevent something from going wrong, let's rather do that. You know, from an underwriting perspective, I'll make you an example. If you underwrite the policy correctly at the beginning by asking the right questions, getting all the right information, then it will avoid, you know, there being a tussle and discussion at claim stage to say, well, I didn't understand it to be that way. And, you know, so it helps everyone in the chain, and it just speaks to the enterprise-wide risk management, which I thought, you know, this qualification really highlighted and honed in for me.
I think I like what you said there, Atiso, and it actually just made me realize when we embarked on the journey as a claims professional and having been in the claims environment for such a long time, you know, we're always under the impression that risk is not for us. You know, it's always a specific department, and actually going through the qualification and the journey made it was actually an eye-opener to realize that actually we all are responsible for risk management in the entire organization. So that was actually quite interesting, because in the past something would pass me, but it wouldn't necessarily make me wary as how I am now, as opposed to, I think my attitude towards risk has shifted tremendously and positively after the qualification.
100%. Did you guys experience personal growth? Like I said, we have these incredible graduate attributes that we try and instill. And I remember from one of the first exercises we do in week 1 is personalities. I don't say your personality because it might be fixed, but do you think you guys have changed following this qualification?
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
Okay, Lulama.
That's a yes. We've got a quorum.
Yeah, I think that's a yes. I think personally the biggest growth on my side is my confidence. Very much confidence in terms of my report writing, in terms of my presentation, and in terms of my awareness. So I think I'm far much confident than when I started.
Yeah, and I can definitely concur that. So professionally for me, I definitely refined my analytical and critical thinking skills, especially when interpreting risk reports and audit outcomes. Breaking down the silos. I'm coining a new term in the agri-asset space I am. Silos are for millies. It's not for people, division. So I think it's really exceptional how you gave us a global universal view and broke it down through the steps into something so practical that after a lesson, I could immediately go and visualize my current environment and implement solutions. So my focus also shifted to, again, dust off my stakeholder engagement suite of skills. So that impacted my current role immediately and positively. And then just personally, I developed resilience, better time management. I've got a greater sense of self-efficacy. And the process ultimately showed me that I can lead in complex environments while staying grounded in my values, which is a non-negotiable for me. So, yes.
Yeah, I think
I
for
love the
me,
values part. Yeah. Sorry, Tandeka.
okay. I think for me, I've improved my confidence and the teamwork as well. I think throughout the modules, we were taught that we have to work together. In this module, we have a different team. The other, you've got so you have to learn and be able to work with different personalities because each contribution counts towards your mark. So you have to listen and talk less and make sure that you just combine efforts with and again using AI. I think this is the first program where I was requested to use one yes for my assessment and stuff. And again, I think I reached out to one of my colleagues or at school. Just tell me what I was supposed to do using ChatGPT. How does it enable your schooling and stuff? Yeah, I think I've grown.
And now you can't live without it.
Yeah, sometimes I consult and do my work day to day.
Yeah, Deirdre?
So for me, it helped me grow tremendously from a ethical point of view, because being a risk manager, you need to have certain characteristics to have crucial conversations, and also to be able to stick to what you believe in. And I think that has helped me grow, because previously I would be indecisive. Whereas now, if I have my facts, I can be more subjective or rather objective with the facts that I have. So having that confidence, and the simulation we did with having actual risk managers actually helped us become more confident to have those conversations. So personally, for me, it's helped me set boundaries, helped me become more disciplined, and also look at my ethics and what is it that we stand for as future risk managers.
Certainly.
Adisu, anything? Yeah.
I think for me, it's definitely taught me how to better self-manage. So you're many of the new colleagues that will start will see that there's frequent assessments, but it's just pacing yourself and being able to do bits and pieces every week rather than leaving it to the last minute, which I really appreciated. And it keeps you accountable. It allows you to then plan your days, plan your month from a schooling perspective, whilst balancing work as well. And I really enjoyed the ability for us to connect as teams, as different teams, and you then see people's different personalities and strengths. Some are better presenters and speakers. Some are better researchers.
Yeah.
Some are better at putting things together. Wink, wink, Deirdre. So we all come with these different traits that just make it so amazing. And if we take that and translate it into our working environments, I think it's amazing that you learn to say, how do we leverage from each other's strengths? If you're good at doing this and I'm good at doing that, how do we help each other to then, work together as a team to achieve, great results? So I think that for me was really one of the key highlights.
Yeah.
I think I'll just hi everybody. I joined a little bit late. I just want to reiterate, especially on what Estelle was saying, to say that it has helped us to be confident in what we do as risk professionals. Over and above that, I think the confidence has also been seen in how we communicate. I think I can say that I communicate better now with my stakeholders, and I focus on the key points rather than having a meeting that's gonna span over 2 hours. I can keep my meetings shorter. I can deal with the facts, and I can rely on data to really assist them in making decisions. And one of the key principles that were reiterated and emphasized is making risk-based decision making. And that approach has really changed how I view risk and my role as a risk professional in my organization.
Well, thank you and welcome, Precious. I hope you guys can still hear me. But welcome. Thank you so much for also being here. What was the support structures like going through? It's really awesome. So we can take me out of the picture.
So for me, I think, the journey was not one that I really expected. And with life, being a mum, working full time, it wasn't always easy. And there were some instances where we needed support to help, maybe an extra day to submit a module, or even just having a chat. I mean, some of our lecturers even had chats with us to give us advice. So for me, I think Milpark goes beyond the "we got you, you've got this." And for me, I've personally experienced that. And I think we were fortunate to have such supportive lecturers on the program with us that made the journey so much more easier.
And if I can also add, it was so easy and to reach out to any one of them at any time. I'm not saying midnight, but I've had situations actually where I was struggling with an assignment or something that I'm not understanding. A quick email, I was shocked to get a response within the time that I sent. So they are available. The support is always there. You're not left alone to run off on your own tangent. And if you need help, there's always someone that's going to hold you. It's not easy as well because it's a new concept that you'll be learning and trying to understand what's happening around it. Being a parent, being a mom, working and all of that stuff. And you've got deadlines at work, you've got deadlines with your assignments, and it's a lot of work. I think we mustn't sugarcoat that. It is a lot of work. But I think the way that the course is paced, like what Atiso said, it allows you to be able to get through what you need to go through, as long as you do not leave it for the last minute.
Yeah, Lulama, I have to agree because I really feel the group of Milpark personnel that were dedicated to us as a group were really excellent. I actually want to upgrade to say it's world class. I've never experienced academics or academic cosmos that was running so well. So the support was just fantastic. The lecturers were knowledgeable and accessible. Their knowledge extended well beyond the module content. They always kept feeding us and plugging us back into the risk universe that you have to build in one of the modules. Yeah. So and it's not only the lecturers, even the peer discussions, the group work that we did, it was so enriching, breaking down silos, learning personalities. There is so much value you can create. And that's what I learned from this course is how do I pull it together? There was a very strong sense of academic community, even online. And that kept me motivated, really. So yeah, it was such a great experience. Thank you, really. Yeah.
I have to agree with you. I think on that, personally, I experienced the greatest amount of support. In my final semester, I had been pregnant for the entire duration of the course, and I went to give birth and I missed a submission. I remember reaching out to Marisa and like, Marisa, I just gave birth. I missed the submission date. What can I do? And she was so and so helpful. She's like, don't panic. I will extend this for you to hand in submission, and all was well. And the same support I got from the fellow teammates in the WhatsApp groups that we are in. We were just always there. And during lessons as well, when we were all feeling overwhelmed, we discussed that to say, we feel like we are getting lost. What can we do? And whether it was an extension that we required or an additional support and more explanation and clarity, the staff was always available. And I must say that that is world class, very, very exceptional.
You get a big head. Anyway. Okay. Okay, so guys, it's a lot of work. Any postgraduate diploma is a lot of work. Do you have any practical tips for prospective students on how you balance the demand of work and life and studying?
So if I may, Marisa, I think for me, the important thing is, set aside each day. So if you've got 5 days in the week, don't wait necessarily always for the weekend. So maybe the best thing would be start reading. Maybe if you do an hour of reading on Monday, an hour of reading on Tuesday, 45 minutes on Wednesday, 30 minutes maybe even on Thursday, because Thursday for us was the live sessions. And then by the time Friday and the weekend comes, you've done a lot of reading already of your content. So now you can then engage on the assignments that you may have to do for the following week. So that way you're able to, not have to spend the whole of Saturday doing it, right? I mean, there's life outside of work and school as well. So you don't want, to miss that balance as well. So if you do a little bit every day, then you're able to then pace yourself. If you leave it obviously to the last minute Sunday or whatever, then you will feel a little bit overwhelmed. But then it will then teach you that, well, then next week then I should try and approach it differently. So I think for me that would be my advice. It's little manageable bits every day.
Yeah, and I think we owe it to the audience to say that we're not going to lie, it wasn't easy. It was a challenge, especially working full-time. You've got family responsibility. But I found success in creating a structured study routine. I tried to preempt and plan ahead. And then I think an aspect that I am most grateful for is relearning to be kind to myself when things didn't go perfectly, because it is going to happen. It's a qualification in risk. It is going to go wrong. So my tip will then be treat the program like a project, like I did. You set milestones, you celebrate the small wins. And then for me, breaking down silos was to communicate my commitments and my small wins clearly with the people around me. That was at work. It was the groups of friends. It's the family, strangers. Like you will end up talking about this qualification. So yeah, that would be my advice.
I think for me as well, I utilized the times that were actually allocated for each and every section. It really helped a lot to plan, to see, okay, in this specific module, how much time do I need to do to plan my time accordingly so I can just have that balance. So I think utilize the times that are given there. They really help. And personally, I think for me that what helped the most is I didn't take it as a, when we're studying, it's like a punishment. You just have to do this and you need to do this. Yeah. I literally enjoyed what I was doing. It was fun. It was challenging, but very rewarding. So if you enjoy it, it will make things a bit easier. And then you'll find yourself going through. Once you've passed the next step, you're reading the next one. Before you know it, you're done.
I think what worked for me in this, throughout the entire courses was I'm traditional. I love holding prints like the module. So and because there were no modules, everything was soft copy, and there is a lot of information in each week. You have to unpack a lot of things. There are links, there are everything. So what worked for me was I'll prep my own notes, handwritten, of course, or you can make your spreadsheet your Word, because you want to get to week 7 or 8, you have all your notes and you know what you need to know for your exam or for whatever, so that you are not overwhelmed, because yeah, it can be very stressful on the last week.
So I think for me, what was important was having conversations with family, to get their support. They usually say it takes a village, and usually that village comes necessary or rather helpful, especially when you have tight deadlines. So that worked perfectly. And also setting boundaries, luckily I'm not really social, but for like usually when there are events and I would be invited, I'll be like, please don't include me. So they already know upfront that I've got my obligations. And I think having those conversations with family members or whoever upfront helps. And also self-discipline, because remember, we're doing this to better ourselves. And I always look at the end goal. It gets tough. It gets tough, but look at the end goal. What is it that you want to achieve? And what also worked for me is not getting stuck on one concept. So if I find myself getting stuck on something, I'd move on, and then sometimes you find that if you move on, it ties into what you are getting stuck in. So I always say, don't get stuck in that specific concept, move on, because you'll find yourself not getting through the material if you get stuck on something that doesn't work. And also seek help.
Deirdre, can I just ask you, fundamentals of risk management, the first module, week 4, probability theories. How did you move beyond the not getting stuck? Because it's just getting stuck.
So I think, usually what I found is the penny usually drops towards the end. So I had a few aha moments towards the end of the actual. I had a few aha moments at the end. And I think for me, I did get stuck at week 4. But I said to myself, let me move forward and then come back. And I found by doing that, going through the material, it actually helped me take my mind off the calculations, because I knew I've mastered the theory. Let me now spend time on my calculations, which actually helped me tackle that nicely.
That's fantastic advice. I wish I had it.
And just to add, I think when now you've been introduced to your classmates, I'll put it that way, just pick someone for your support. Someone you can have a number or something. With the assignment, I don't really get the concept. What do you think? Not necessarily that you copy the work, or just to have someone to explain it to you, because someone's strength, you can leverage on that when doing the assignments, and less pressure on you. Get a friend.
Week 4.
Week 4.
Yeah.
Oh, shame. So just for the audience, week 4, we teach you all about Excel and data cleaning and then probabilities. But it's very practical as well.
And it can be done. It can be done.
I know
it seems as if it can't be done, but like Marisa always says and stays in our head, whatever you put time to, it will work out in the end. So you put the time in, look at other resources and do other examples online, but it can definitely be done. We survived. It can be done. We did it.
Well, Precious, anything to add about how you balance everything?
I think for me, it was quite difficult, especially as a 9 to 5 person. But what helped in my case is that because I work hybrid, that allowed for a bit of free time, sometimes during my lunchtime, where I can squeeze in a chapter or squeeze in a submission that I need to do. So it was just about see in your schedule where you can cut some time and plug it into your meal pack time that you need to dedicate to your studies. And weekends have been absolutely off limits, where weekends are really just about school for me, particularly on Sundays, because most Mondays we have to submit something. So, so I just had to make sure that my family understands that weekends are really for school, and where I can, I'll spend time with them. But it's only 18 months of that sacrifice.
Okay, I know I didn't do the postgrad in risk, but it was just advice from my side. If you're studying, food delivery, but not takeaways, that food delivery where they bring you like cooked food every day. That's the winner. That's gold. Okay. Almost through all the questions, and then we'll take questions from the audience as well. What advice would you give someone who's on the fence about registering for the postgrad in risk? Yeah, let's just leave it there.
I think just do it. On my side, I'd say it's the best sacrifice. It's the best 18 months you can put into your career. It's not only going to change how things are for you at work, but even as a person, it really teaches you discipline, and it assures you, because there are some skills I didn't know I had. We had to present in our groups, and this course really trained me to really speak in public, and that is a critical skill that you will need in all aspects of your life. So I would say jump in and you'll figure things out once you are in it.
I have to agree. I would also say you have to Nike, you have to do it. Especially if you're aiming for leadership or you want to future-proof your career. This qualification equips you with a language of risk that's essential in today's business. It's rigorous, but it's also rewarding, and it's extremely relevant. And I think it will withstand the test of time, that it will stay relevant
I think for me, and I was discussing this with a colleague actually after we got our results 2 weeks ago, confirming that, we've now completed the qualification. And I said, funny enough, in 2024, we're having the discussion that, Milpark's got this new program, a postgrad in risk management. Yeah, I'm taking a break. I'll start in 2025 in January, I'll start. And then my colleague was like, well, you could just start now. So I tried the whole registration thing, and well, within a few days I was registered. I didn't even know what I was getting myself into, but the 18 months has now passed. So whoever's on the fence, the time will pass either way. So it depends, do you want the time to pass with you having learned new skills and upgrading yourself, or, you still be on the fence this time next year?
Yeah, I would say jump on and look forward to RMI. That was my favorite module. It was the best. It was the best module ever. There's so much to look forward to. You will always be on your toes. There's always exciting things to do. I mean, jump on and you'll come out renewed.
Yes.
I think for me, what actually stood out was we were fortunate to have attended the IRMSA conference last year. And a lot of it focused around AI and how we can look at implementing it. And it was actually quite surprised that we're already there. And I mean, to be part of an organization that's already a few steps ahead makes that actually worthwhile. And I think it also sets you apart as an academic when you've been on this journey. So I think if you're on the fence, move to the other side, because again, it can be done, and just do it.
Yeah, just keep swimming. And be a shark, you can't go backwards. Oh my goodness. What mindset do you think people must bring into this program to get the most out of it?
You will definitely be served well with a growth mindset and an attitude and willingness to be challenged. So you can prepare yourself to engage critically with the content and connect it to your current work environment. So the more you apply what you learn, the more value you're going to gain from this experience. And I think that is one of the core features of how they compiled that. It's really exceptional how they break it down and how quickly you can apply what you learn.
Yeah, I think like you say, Estelle, it's very important to come with the mindset of you want to, number one, achieve something. You're going to change your mindset altogether. You're going to be thinking differently, even in your work environment. When you're engaging with your colleagues, you start speaking risk jargon, and they'll probably look at you like, yeah, he's only been doing this for a month. So you'll come with that mindset that you want to learn, you want to be inquisitive, and ask questions. And I think another hidden, you'll make great connections and friends along the way as well. I've been fortunate to be in a couple of group assignments with Deirdre, and we've shared a lot of ups and downs. So it's an amazing opportunity to network as well. To get to know new people in different industries as well. So I think that come with that mindset, an open mindset, willing to learn and take on new challenges.
I've added some different ideas here, and that was getting used to becoming uncomfortable. It was a very uncomfortable experience. The time, the sacrifice, the volume, not knowing the environment.
Yeah.
But it's that discomfort that created that energy and that synergy to really invest in this. So don't go in thinking it's going to be I was rather cavalier when we started. That got sorted out quite quick.
Yeah.
But whatever you do, don't be put off. Being uncomfortable as a grown.
I remember is that me and Rochelle, we were somewhere at a conference. We had to rush home one night to get on a call with you guys, and you were just like, I am not doing group work.
Yeah, I remember that session.
You took my me. I'm not doing group work.
It was adamant.
Yeah.
Guys, it was okay. And Annie, what did you tell us 2 weeks later?
I apologized.
You apologized.
Well, Marisa, 2 weeks later, we instigated another meeting. And then we asked, can we please do this next part as a group?
A group.
Found the value of the two. Oh, that was incredible. Yo.
If I can just go back to the mindset, Marisa, I think the mindset is that we are on postgraduate level, and there is a certain degree of discipline expected from us. So yes, we have the study material, we have the lecturers, but I think it's ultimately up to us as an individual to take initiative. So the mindset I came in with is learn and unlearn, relearn. And I think having that mindset and pushing and knowing that I have to rely on myself, having to get this done, helped me get through, because I knew I can't let myself down. I had to keep pushing every week, every module. So I think you can't discount the power of you and your willpower.
100%. And I think another thing that's important is for you to know that it is on you. You will be provided with course material, with all the resources you need to get through, but in terms of applying and application of those into your studies, it's on you, and you have to trust yourself to apply those, whether it's in the examinations. I think it's important for me to highlight that as well. Exams are quite different at this level. You'd think we are going to be given a scope or some sort of a guide to say this is what to expect. And when the exam comes and is in front of you, it requires of you to think like a chief risk officer and really apply yourself, a very high level and elevated level. Yeah.
I wonder if I jumped into a different line of thought quickly and brought sport into study, if that would create some interest. In ultra distance racing, which I used to do before starting studying, but no more. I used to say, be gentle on yourself. And what that meant was to be able to do it again tomorrow. That to be able to pace yourself, to be able to roll out through pieces and consistent effort, rather than try and do big blocks of intense effort and then be too tired to do it again tomorrow. And so being gentle on yourself has been very wise about what you're doing. And I'm feeding on what Precious was saying and Deirdre is to break it into these pieces and have that mindset of, it's going to take me longer if I'm tired, accept that. What do I need to do to prevent tiredness from delaying it? So it became how do I influence my environment positively to achieve each small goal as I broke it up.
Yeah. Yeah, Marisa, maybe a last thought on this. The mindset I went into this course, there was a few big changes happening at work and in my personal life. So I coined early on to say the commitment will be there. So whatever it takes, it will get done. And I have to say that really served me well during said challenges at that time. And I think I can testify of the group. You pull it together. You commit, and once you are committed, you are in. And the stream of which you are a part, it's going to help get you there. So, agree with you, Andy.
Thank you, guys. Any questions from our audience that I haven't seen? Oh, I see the questions are being answered in the chat. Is there, well, maybe I was just click on the Q&A button. That would also work.
There's a Q&A button.
Okay. Yeah, no, I saw it now. I'm like, ooh. Okay, there's no question.
In the chat.
Still traumatized.
But okay, well, let's make up the time. Still traumatized. Yeah, man. Yeah. Okay, so the next intake, we usually only do one in January and July. And honestly, to be fair, I phoned this group, well, some people in this group, and asked them, is it a good idea to launch another intake? So yes, there is another intake in September. So we are launching in September. So come join the craziness, and it will be fun. Okay, so you can also raise your hand if you have a question. Yeah, so classes are about every 2 weeks. Also depends on what's happening in the week. Then we might have more. Tshepo.
Good evening, how are you?
Hello, good and you?
I'm fine, thank you. I just wanted to find out what time do the classes start, and on weekly basis, are they every day or on specific days of a week?
No, they're generally on a Thursday. And then as your cohort starts, we have an induction session. And in that session, the group votes at what time they want their live sessions to be. So yeah, it's democracy wins at what time the classes are. It's generally at 6. But democracy wins.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay, I don't see any more questions.
So I'll ask you a question.
Okay. Oh, goodness, oh hell.
This is going to be great.
What? Okay, go.
The funniest thing since studying risk management is people ask me, what is risk management?
Yes.
Try answer that in a short question for me.
No, there's
Give me
no
a-
short answer to that.
Okay. I'm going to ask you another question that I get
Okay.
asked. How do you monetize this?
You can't. I
I'm-
don't think
I'm
you
gonna-
can, but there's definitely a return on investment, but you cannot
Definitely.
make money. You're not going to, well, you can if you see a risk and then instead of seeing it as a risk, flipping it into an opportunity rather.
So I've got a pet answer that I'm using, and I wonder
Okay.
if we just chat about it. I've been answering both questions. How does this affect the business?
Mm,
What do you think?
I like it. I like it.
Good
Can we use it
answers,
in our
no?
content? Can we update our content?
It's yours.
Andy Wesson.
Marisa, he's working towards his retirement plan.
I
That
see
is
this.
spoke of.
I see this.
Very smart, Andy, very smart.
You were listening.
Yes.
I see we have a hand there. I can't see the name there. Laka, is it Modi? Or I'm not sure how you say that.
Thank you, Marisa. It's Mudiehi.
Oh,
Good evening, Marisa and the team. My name is Mudiehi Ranzwai. I'm a compliance officer. Actually, I was a forensic investigator at the city of Johannesburg. We do a lot of risk registers and, but I'm actually in the dark, obviously, because I haven't done risk management. But then I really love compliance a lot as well. Just wanted to find out between the two, how do I now feed compliance into risk or risk into compliance? How does it come? Because most of the time at one of our department, we've got risk and compliance department, meaning the auditors, the risk officers, compliance officers are sitting at the same floor. So how do all this interface? Thank you.
okay. So I think, and look, I might not be very popular with certain professional bodies, but I think risk management is the overarching everything. So like an umbrella where insurance plugs in and compliance plugs in and governance plugs in. So I think this course is very broad. And then on the end, you do have the electives to specialize in compliance risk management, specifically the risk management side of compliance management, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I'm currently a student at UJB doing BA in public management and governance, and there's fear of risk program project, also a little bit of that, a touch of that as well. So thanks for the clarity. That is a broader picture, then I can be able to focus on risk and compliance, something like that. I think I'll see
100%.
along the way. I think I'll see along the way. Okay, thank you so much, Mary.
Thank you. Pleasure. Andy, I see you. Do you also have
Hey, I don't not to be overly chatty, to pick up what you said, Marisa, and apologies for being late. Things like today happen in other people in movies. Your question 3 is, how has I missed this one. How has it changed the way you think about risk? It's what you touched on. So if I could, in my personal experience with previous studies, doing my AI, doing my FI, essay, in all of those, it felt like risk management was a part of insurance. Whereas now I can see that insurance is a part of risk management. And it applies, I think, to that compliance question as you've answered. Not I think, it applies to that compliance question as you've answered. It's that overarching, how does this affect the business? Back to my question to you. Cool. I hope that's helpful.
I see there just came a question in. Would you advise someone who is not working in risk and compliance role to do this course? Will some of the class of coursework activities require some sort of risk background? Is there some sort of mentorship or grooming offered during and after completing the course? That's my biggest fear. Atisu.
Yeah, I think that was my concern as well, to say that if you're not a full-time risk management professional, and you don't work in compliance, how relevant would this qualification be for you? And I think, at this level, at NQF level 8, it's very important because it broadens your thinking, right? You don't just think about departmentally, you think about, at more a strategic level, which may become important one day in one's career in the future. So I think, it's not necessarily for risk and compliance people only. I think any professional would probably benefit from this, to just see how risk relates to other departments as well.
I think if I can also add there, Tiso, I've
I
been in
agree
the
with
claim
that.
space for such a long time and having no experience to the risk world, it was also quite a scare for me at first. But I think it's quite practical to the point where you actually don't need background. You're starting from the basics and you work your way up.
True.
If I can also just add,
week
on my
1 to
side,
3 and after 4 is fundamentals.
They built you back up from the floor after yes. Foundational.
Sorry, Precious.
No, I was going to say that I agree with Adiso. I think everyone who is in corporate, even as a business owner, if you are one, management is quite important and benefit from studying this. I always say that risk is really about protecting value and really ensuring that uncertainty on objectives is managed. So if you are someone who is in corporate, you know that we operate from looking at the organization's strategy. And now when you look at the strategy of your organization, risk management is saying, how can I best ensure that anything that might impact our ability to reach our goals and our strategic objectives is mitigated. So for just being in corporate, this would be quite pivotal, even if you're not directly in a risk role.
Thank you, Precious. Yes, Kabelo, I think Precious just answered that. I think this qualification, and I do need to wrap up after this, I think the qualification is so broad, and I think what it instills in you as a person, and the leadership and those things, I think it will open any door for you. And I look, I might be biased. I might be biased. But guys, I think we can all agree that our graduates didn't just survive the postgraduate in risk management. They came out transformed and possibly with a few more gray hairs than when they started. I am slowly building an army of gray hairs. So guys, hearing your stories today has reminded me why we do what we do and why we insist on adding just that little bit of crazy into the mix. To our graduates, guys, I am so proud of the professionals, leaders, and humans you have become. You've always been, but just been enhanced. You have shown grit and creativity and heart, and you have proven that risk management isn't just about avoiding the pitfalls. It is about confidence and purpose. So, and finally, for those who are watching that might still be on the fence about joining the postgrad in risk, just know it is challenging, but it is transformative. And yes, it's a little bit weird and wonderful. But if you are ready to grow, we will be right here cheering you on. I have to just say it again, our graduates, thank you so much for being here today and sharing your stories with us. And So congratulations with your incredible achievement. I cannot wait for graduation next year. I will be at every one right there with you. And thank you so much for all our viewers for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you taking the time. Good night, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you,
Goodbye,
everyone.
everyone. Thank you.